What's going on, everyone? My name's and we're gonna be actually doing something a little bit different. We're gonna be reacting to this video called "Why Everyone Plays Cloud" by Vars 3. By the way, he is a Smash YouTuber that I've kind of seen recently. I haven't watched this video yet, but he also like plays Cloud and such. So be sure to like support his channel and subscribe to him and all that. But I just want to do something a little different today, just so give you guys some perspective on something like this. And yeah, let's just get right into it. Pretty simple. So something I just actually want to get into. Cloud, I feel like is one of those characters, or at least before, he was like really popular at like a low level, but then at a higher level, he got like less popular. But then like with buffs and results, he's definitely become like more meta relevant and such. But like I actually feel like Cloud like high level Cloud representatives were rather uncommon for a while. Like I think only like this year or maybe 2021, but I feel like going 2021 2022 is where there's actually like more, especially now after Nico's win at Lost Tech City, or his top 8 performance. But anyways, let's keep going. Also, just a quick thing, why he was popular at low level is, one, he's Cloud. And two, he's like fairly simple to use.
As brought up in the past, the philosophy of balance during the transition from Smash 4 to Ultimate was to shift the spotlight from the dominating characters and elevate some lower tiered ones into more relevant.
Yeah, in Smash 4, Cloud was, I think he was the most popular character in Smash 4. Which is partially why like Cloud was the most popular character on Elite Smash for a while, I think, because that kind of transition happened and such. But the nerfs definitely made him less popular when it came to like top level play.
Cloud's dominance during Smash 4 was more straightforward, in that his prevalence was attributed less to having an unbeatable arsenal of tools ranging from conventional power to ridiculous cheese, and more to a simple case of numbers.
Yeah, Cloud was not like how he was dominant. It's just that he was like really like simplified the game a lot in Smash 4, and like he just had very easy answers. Like he was like the easiest character in the game, I think. Like I didn't play Smash 4 too much, but I know of Smash 4 Cloud, of course. But he made what were originally complex situations like simpler. But in his favor.
I'd go so far as to say he's one of the few characters with the perfect balance in physics overall.
Yeah, you know what's interesting is that Smash 4 Cloud, even though like he's more broken, Ultimate Cloud is like a little more well-rounded. He's like yeah, at least in Smash 4, like the recovery was like, I mean, you still get edge guarded in Ultimate, but like in 4 it was worse, cause you didn't have directional air dodge, and the up B ledge snap was worse. But now limit charged faster. We have a better ledge snap, and we have directional air dodges, which helped a ton.
One noteworthy trait that stood out about him was that he was a sword character who could force approaches.
That is so true. Cloud has like the unique strength to control the pace of the game, but like not many characters can control the pace of the game like he can. Like there's some that can definitely do it better than him, but there's not many in the first place. So like the ability to charge the limit to make people feel like, oh shoot, I have to like hit him, or else like he's gonna get like buffs and like and a really good like super move, I guess. But like but then he also had like he has really good anti-approach options like cross slash, down tilt, up B, nair, back air. Like he's so good at stuffing out approaches and forcing them at the same time.
Through Cloud's limit charge and blade beam, he was effectively the only sword fighter who pressured his opponent into approaching him.
Yeah, in 4 it definitely was scarier because you could hold on to limit forever. When in Ultimate, like you get to hold on to limit for 15 seconds, which is still like a good amount of time. But obviously it's compared to infinity. Compared to until you use it, it's definitely like different. Like, which is why like in 4, like Cloud was like so lame because he would just like camp for limit and such. I mean, I think Cloud's still like a little lame, but like I think in 4 it was like much more obvious because in 4 his like combos weren't like very interesting, and then he just like forced approaches a lot, and it would camp a lot, etc.
His ludicrous hitboxes and effective range were toned down a bit.
You know what's funny is that up air was so dumb. was like so big for no reason, but also like now it's interesting because like now like I love when you land a landing up air because then it's like amazing, right? It's like so sick. But then before it was just like the standard, which it's just kind of funny. This is like how things changed.
Was completely gutted at the start, the developer sought to reallocate some of that lost power budget into the more lackluster parts of his kit as opposed to doing away with it entirely.
That is true. That is very true. Like things that got better from 4 to Ultimate, like I already mentioned before, his recovery got better. Um, like some moves got better. Like Fair got way better. That move was not good before. Now it is very good. Um, some like other things. I actually feel like Cross Slash is better. Like not limit Cross Slash, but just normal Cross Slash. Just since it's bigger and like it connects more easily and does more damage. Um, but I haven't like played a lot of Smash 4, so I don't know like all the little minor details. But there were definitely things that did get better from 4 to Ultimate.
His base special moves like Blade Beam and Climb Hazard were made more usable and given some
Oh, how did I forget Uppy? Yeah, Uppy got a lot better. Cause I think before its spike was worse, and it had like a lot more landing lag. Like I think like twice as much, but now it's like way safer to use. And I'm glad you mentioned Blade Beam. Fun fact: Limit Blade Beam was actually not intangible in Smash 4. But they made it intangible in this game, which was I think was a good change, just because like it's a like you charged up to use this move. Why should it get stopped by like a Mega Man pellet? um, but I think normal Blade Beam was like about the same. Like maybe it does like slightly more damage or slightly bigger, but like not like a significant change to it. I think.
dash attack and up smash were granted more kill pressure to offset the loss of consistent KO options.
Yeah, so this was from patches 7.0, because dash attack and up smash didn't used to kill, but now they do. I think they also did in 4, but like I think dash attack killed in 4, but I don't but I know that dash attack or sorry, up smash in this game is I'm pretty sure it's faster than it was in 4 and is now stronger, so and that's pretty good. And the dash attack definitely helps, especially since it's like one of those options that forces people to like get off ledge, because if they don't respect it, they can die.
Or it made a lot of players think he was mid-tier at best, and at the time,
Jeez, oh my god, I I hated when people called Claude mid tier. Like, I mean, I was fairly new to the game, so like I didn't know that much, but like when I played Cloud, I was like, he's good. Like, I didn't think he was broken. I just thought he was good, high tier. Like, you know, good. You had back air back then too.
mid-tier wasn't viewed with as much respect as it is now. Cloud didn't
That's
suffer as
true.
bad a fall from grace as his peers.
That's true. Mid tier back then was like different than mid tier now. Though, like, I don't know. Tier lists are such a weird topic, but I feel like I wish I don't know. Like sometimes people will say, "Oh, a mid tier in this game would be a high tier in another," but I feel like that kind of takes away from the point of it being mid tier, because aren't they supposed to be mid or mediocre? Like I guess you could say mid, like in the middle of the tier list, higher on the tier list, top of the tier list, lower the tier list. But I also feel like it's also about like more than just like numbers and like, oh, they're the 27th best or they're the 45th best, but more than about like what the actual tangible toolkit and such. I kind of unrelated. I just like wanted to mention it just because like I don't know, it's just like an interesting topic.
Fortunately, the devs were aware of this, and on version 7.0 he received a much
Yep.
needed
Okay. So yeah. Dash attack, up smash, up B. Like, I mean, honestly, all of the buffs except for like the forward smash and shield buff were actually like really good. Like these were like some of the single set, like some of the best set of buffs like a character's ever gone. Like they gave him a new out shield option, 2 new kill moves. They made his mechanic just overall better by making it charge faster than it did in Smash 4, by the way. I think I already mentioned that. And then they made like his up B snap better. Like those are all like great buffs. And he wasn't even like people did say he was mid tier, but he wasn't. I don't think back then he was mid tier. I think he was more like a high tier character. Um, but yeah, these buffs were very impactful.
His up special now snaps the ledge earlier, just
Dude, that was so
fast
good.
enough to be hard to
That was
reliably
so
two-frame.
good.
And finally,
Like, 2 frames used to be so consistent against Cloud. I mean, there's still some characters that can 2 frame pretty reliably. Like, DK F-tilt, for example, is pretty good. Or, like, Paladin down tilt. But, like, for example, Wolf would just, like, be able to F-tilt all the time. But now it's, like, so much harder for him, especially with, like, all the timing mix-ups you could do. It's, like, it made it so much better.
the limit gauge could be charged manually a full second faster, giving him access to more limits, and an even bigger incentive to charge whenever he could.
Literally, I think that is the single best buff. Like, that is the single best buff Ultimate, like, any character in Ultimate has gone. Because literally, you would get a limit, like, way more. Like, before you would only get, like, 1 limit a stock, usually, but now you can get 2. And that is a humongous deal. That is huge. That means more recovering, more killing, more pressure, more speed, more movement. Like, that is so, like, that's such a big buff. And, like, and people kind of underrated it, though, back then.
So while you can no longer hold on to limit status indefinitely, you can get access to more, and thus more uses of his versatile limit specials.
Yep, that is true. Oh, I like this little freeze frame. Yep, like, that's actually such a good way of putting it. I never really thought about it. You don't hold limit more, or you don't hold limit as much, but you just get more limit in general, which is, like, a good way to, like, balance it.
Through a combination of being very easy to pick up due to a straightforward kit and a solid balance of power, speed, range, and damage, Cloud
he is very well-rounded, like I mentioned earlier. Like, he's got very consistent, is how I'd say. Like, he's got answers for, like, every situation in the game, or almost every situation in the game. There's only, like, a couple things that are, like, kind of awkward with him. Like, it's more so just, like, the fact that he's, like, a swordy and, like, like, for example, he doesn't have, like, that really super quick button in the air. I mean, he has an air, but I'm sorry, he doesn't have that super quick forward-facing button in the air. Like, you could say his forward-facing button is up B, but, like, it's, committal and such. And then when you have limit, obviously you're not gonna just try to spam up B when because then you'll waste limit and all that. He is pretty well-rounded, and it makes it so that, like, playing Cloud is, like, very very fundamental based. I feel like only, like, stuff like, I feel like when it comes to weaknesses, it's more dependent on the matchup than, like, oh, he consistently, like, I think in some matchups recovering can be hard, but then in other matchups, like, landing can be hard, for example. Like, for example, if I play against a Fox, landing is gonna be a lot harder than, like, getting hit off stage. So, it's just an example.
was able to find gainful employment at being what I like to call the anti-meta, inadvertently rendering him a meta character, but in a roundabout way.
Yeah, actually, it's kind of weird, because Claude just seems like a meta character, but then he, like, dealt with, like, a lot of, like, matchups that were weird. Like, he was very good at, like, those weird awkward matchups. Like, I feel like I think it's only, like, Diddy or, like, stuff like that would make Cloud work very hard, or harder than normal, or make it hard to play against those characters that would, like, I don't know, challenge him.
Every other sortie in the game has a vulnerability that can be exploited in some way. For example, Lucina and Martha have roughly the same coverage as Cloud and superior frame data across the board, but their
I don't know about that. I mean, maybe, like, their startup is, like, a little better, but the safety, whew. Oh boy. Okay, I'll say their movement. Like, I think their stats are better. Like, the initial dash is, like, really good.
Speed and gravity are noticeably worse than Cloud's, more so when he has limit. Furthermore, they're exclusively melee, forcing them to approach every time, which is exactly what a lot of anti-metas want. Another example, Roy.
Yeah, that's true. Honestly, I need to camp a little more against some of these characters. But yeah, no, that's a good point, because yeah, Cloud has, like, Blade Beam and limit charge, which is really helpful. But then you can also, like, pressure from, like, a even longer distance.
Sorties of the projectile game like Robin have the inverse problem. Robin's able to play very defensively using arc fire and charging thunder to play just like a zoner, but their mobility is so abysmal to where they're unable to switch.
I mean, Robin's well, I get the point. I get the point. Like the mobility is definitely worse. I think like the Abysmal is kind of an over exaggeration, but like definitely worse. That's for sure.
Cloud's rushdown and camping game doesn't swing as far as Roy and Robin respectively, but it doesn't have to. It's just enough to pose a threat, and that's what matters.
Yeah. So like Cloud has some great movement, which is, and then weight beam and limit charge, which will make people approach, right? And then, but then also has like really safe moves, like back air and forward air, and like, you know, a lot. There's a lot, and then like mix-ups and such. Like, he's really strong. And like I said, well-rounded. This is like exactly what he's talking about here. It's like very well-rounded neutral. He like probably has like some of the best neutral out of any of the sword fighters.
Nothing in his kit exemplifies this more than his trademark back air, one of the few attacks in the game that can be accurately described as a when in doubt move, with a frame
When in doubt move? I never thought of that, but I mean, sometimes. Because even if you parry it, it's -6 on parry. Like, you have to have, like, some very good frame data or some very, very good tilts. Like, tilts that, like for example, like, a Sheik F tilt could, like, actually have a punish, or, like, a Squirtle F tilt could set for a tech situation, but, like, most characters just don't have that, like, fast punish move.
Up, it's reasonably fast, does 13% base damage, covers the entire backside of him with...
Okay, 13 base is for short hop. For full hop, it's 16. Just a clarifying thing, by the way.
Common way to balance a character in Smash Bros. Is that if they're able to dish it out, they usually can't take it. Glass cannons like Fox, Sheik, and Pichu can overwhelm you with damage, combos, and speed, but you can just as easily burn their stock away with a few exchanges of your own. It stands to reason that if Cloud can exert all this pressure and get away with it, he's probably not good at taking pressure himself. Quite the opposite, he's one of the best at dealing with pressure, at least on stage. Against closer
Nice.
range fighters, he has two fantastic outer shield.
Yeah, he is very capable of dealing with pressure, yet also making pressure. It's like I said, he doesn't have, like, it really depends on the matchup what his weaknesses are.
Moves. Climb Hazard, which offers virtually no KO potential in his base form, but does a ton of damage and is a serviceable...
Dude, Climb Hazard, not, like, sure, it doesn't, like, kill and such, but like you said, it does a lot of damage. Also on platforms, it sets up for so many strings. Like, it like gives you advantage state, which is just really strong for an out of shield option that's big, that fast, and, you know, and also has like mix-ups out of it too. Though, like, it's obviously not like the safest thing in the world, because like if they read the, like, or if they shield in time, then like I'm pretty vulnerable, but still pretty good.
Once again though, there aren't that many characters who can realistically challenge us on stage pressure.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Even if Cloud's weakness is his offstage, his neutral is so strong that if he's like able to maintain stage control, it's hard to find those situations. And then his recovery, like in some matchups, like I keep saying over and over, some matchups it's fine, other matchups it's not. But like, you know, it's not like, when you think about it like that, when it comes to what has to happen before Cloud's off stage, like, you have to win neutral against him, and then you have to make sure he's far away on stage, or far away off stage, like far enough where you can actually get an edge guard, but then, like, you know, you have to make sure that it actually kills. Like, it's not that easy.
In a contest of mobility, there are only a handful who are faster than him, but they typically lose in another department, such as range, or they have no way to break through his defenses. In a contest of range, anyone...
I kind of say this guy's explaining it very well. Like, I'm not always the best at, like, explaining these things, but he's, like, explaining it very well. Just shout out to Vars III.
In a contest of power, he can rack up damage almost as easily as a heavyweight.
Okay, his damage output, it actually shocks me that people don't talk about it as much. It may not be like crazy, like 0 to 80s, right? But his damage per hit is kind of ridiculous. Like, Cross Slash does 23 damage, almost 24, and that's like just side B. And then, but then, like, you talk about his aerials. Fair can do up to 17. Bear can do up to 16. I think up air it does like 13, if I remember correctly. Um, and then like it's just like his damage per hit is baffling. On like up B does 18. He mentioned that earlier. It is so like surprising because like if you look at every other sword fighter, I guess the only one is Shulk because he has Buster Art, but like I don't know. I think the only ones that like actually realistically do more damage are Roy and Shulk, like I just mentioned, because Roy has like the combo game, um, and Shulk has Buster. But I mean that's not even like a consistent thing. That's only like part of the time. So heck, Cloud might have like a better average damage output than Shulk.
By no means is Cloud this impenetrable wall with no weaknesses, but all of those weaknesses can be diminished to the point of irrelevance by switching gears, and players are starting to notice this, hence why they picked him up as a secondary or
Yep. It's like, it's like, yeah, you can kind of, not like erase the weaknesses, but you can make it so that the weaknesses aren't like, they're not easy to fight against. They're not easy to exploit, if you play it right. Like if you play a matchup where off stage, okay, for example, here's a great example actually. Kazuya has Gates of Hell, right? It's stupid against Cloud. It will kill Cloud like almost all the time. The thing is that you have to get the grab from the corner against Cloud, who is back airing you or whatever, or like is doing this really safe pressure. Kazuya can get it, but like. And it is incredibly rewarding when he does. But the thing is that Cloud's neutral is so strong, and and Gates of Hell is like kind of specific because you have to be kind of cornered in the first place in order to like get the reward. Like Cloud will just like out neutral Kazuya, and that's why, like, because I saw Riddle's matchup chart and he said Cloud's even. I kind of disagree because, like, it's true that the if you get like the right punishes, it could be very strong. But if we're talking like, I don't know, if we're talking just like trying to get like a Gates of Hell, like in general, like the best way for Kazuya to do it is out of a combo. But Kazuya's combo game is already super good, so it's like not like anything crazy. So it's different than like some other options that like are like Cloud killers.
On the subject of consistency, that very aspect is what makes Cloud applicable to a lot of players. Cloud's a fundamentals character, meaning the extent at which you find success depends on how good you are as a player overall.
Yeah, I will say though, despite Cloud being a fundamental character, he's actually like also pretty, like he has some mix-ups that you would not expect from Cloud, because Cloud seems like very simple, and he is very simple, but you can kind of push him to be like more technical and more like almost gimmicky in a way, kind of. But like there's lots of mix-ups that you can do with Cloud, and so I think that's like something you guys should think about. It's just like he has stalls, he has landing mix-ups, he has a lot. I can't just name it all right now, but despite being very fundamentally oriented, he also has like the hint of like expressive mix-ups and such.
So yes, outside circumstances did contribute to his rise to prominence in recent years, but he was able to maintain that attention through his design, and while in my humble opinion I wish he got just a few more buffs,
I just want quality of life changes. He doesn't need buffs. Like, he doesn't need big buffs. Like, I would, like, there are, like, okay. If I were to change, like, add stuff to Cloud, make forward smash stronger. Make Nair, the hitbox, make it accurate to the move, because the hitbox is smaller than the visual. And then just make up tilt hit slightly more from behind, and that's really all he needs. And I guess you could say, oh, buff finishing touch, but I think that's also kind of necessary. That's on the weaker side. And I think them making it faster is actually a better buff overall.
In this kind of situation, stability and consistency matter more than anything else, and I can't think of anyone more consistent than Cloud. That's one advantage.
Honestly, that's kind of true. I feel like if you're thinking of consistency or consistent characters like Cloud, I think Cloud He's definitely up. I think Wolf is up there. People have been kind of forgetting about Wolf. That character is so very good. I think like Wolf is up there. Pyramithra kind of. I think they get like a little bit like they can struggle in some like Min Min for example. Though I actually feel like the Min Min matchup is just something they gotta figure out because I think Foresight's very good against Min Min. It's just that it's not intuitive. Yeah, I actually watched a PG stats video. I forget which one it is. It's about like like meta relevant characters and such that have like been performing. Whatever. But like Cloud was in like the top 30, 40 area before, and now he's in like the top 10 area, which is a pretty big jump. Because before he was just like when it comes to stats. But now, despite there being even more characters, now he's like a top 10 character when it comes to stats. So that's good. Yeah, please follow Vars. I'm not trying like I just thought this would be kind of like a fun thing to react to, but I don't want to like take away from like his. I mean, okay, I'm a small channel. I'm not gonna really take away much viewership, but you should still check him out again. You know, for making the video. I'm glad that like someone talked about this and such with like a decent following. And like if you look, it got like 63,000 views, which is pretty good. So yeah, be sure to check him out. But anyways, yeah, if you like this kind of content, be sure to like and subscribe and comment below. Yeah, I thought this was like fun to just kind of look at the different perspective, but also like look at some of the stats and all that stuff to see like how Cloud became popular and how he had risen throughout the meta and became like this relevant character that's now like a threat to the meta. But yeah, anyways, if you like this video, like I said, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Ring that bell, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. Peace.